Hi, I'm Jocelyn Kessler. People tell me I see the world a little differently, and maybe they're right. I've always been fascinated by the way humans and animals mirror each other, interact with each other, and even teach each other. So if you love animals, stories, or just looking at the world a little sideways, you're in the right place. Welcome to Future Dog. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Future Dog. I'm your host, Jocelyn Kessler, and we're going to talk a little bit today about how our country and our world protects our animals, have been protecting their animals, and where we're going now. This is something we kind of just decided to really implement and do an episode on because it's happening so fast that in one of our last episodes, we talked about the New York City carriage horse tragedy, where the horse had basically died midway down from falling onto the ground, and it was a big scene, and we've seen too much of it, and I was really in a passionate uproar as Mary. As we hear in the back here at Future Dog, everyone has a voice. Clearly, everyone's in an uproar about seeing such devastation like that and how we treat our animals right in front of us in our country in this day and age, right, Mary? Either way, we decided to actually come full circle and really talk about protecting our animals and how important it is. And it looks like that New York City is now, starting June 1st, 2026, the law will be implemented, a rider law, where that will no longer exist. Horses, carriages, pulling people around like in archaic times through the city, through Central Park. They're going to put them in electric cars, which I don't know what happened to walking. I don't understand it. It always has to be a main event. Like if you're a tourist in Central Park, I'm born and raised in New York, and I was brought up in Manhattan, and I can't even tell you, it takes a long time from the east to the west side to walk that park. It's beautiful just about in all seasons. I probably wouldn't walk at 12 a.m., but I would certainly walk at 12 p.m. through the park and enjoy it. And I think what I really wanted to get down to in this episode here with us at Future Dog is that we so often miss the basics, like basic, simple little things that we can do in our life. I hear so much, well, how can we understand our animals more? How can we enjoy nature more? How can we really protect our animals and all of this? And it's usually really simple ways, right? So take a walk. Don't get in the electric car. Don't have the archaic horse. Like, it's just weird that it finds, to me, that I also look in this article and it says, it basically errs on the side of empathy, that how sad it is, right, Mary, to lose 150 years of archaic ways. Now, I guess 100 years ago wouldn't be so archaic to get your horse and drawn carriage, right, Mary? Mary? We're in Jupiter right now. It doesn't matter. You think it'd be archaic then, but it's certainly archaic now. And it's really what's upsetting, and most upsetting to me in this country, is that we have to wait until it's so like, why are you doing this anymore, to stop doing it? But we're here, we're applauding that New York has now decided to stop doing that. And in June, they will do that. At the same time, I also wanted to bring up that in one of our episodes, or maybe it was a social, we addressed how well Mexico was doing, and they were just basically banging out these fucking laws left and right on how you treat animals, not just domesticated, but in all forms, farm animals and other. And now we're also seeing that in Germany, which actually has been holding pretty good laws about protection as a whole to their animals. They recently, just in their welfare association, calls for a new animal protection law. This law basically, in summation, protects animals on every level, and not just dogs, cats, but all animals and livestock, on how we treat them as a whole, how we keep them, how we feed them, what is allowed. It was almost somewhat an equal treatment of how we would protect human beings. And Sweden, another country who has far surpassed us in how they look at our world's animals, how valuable they are. You know, it's interesting because this week we did an episode on the movie Good Boy, which I believe is coming out today or tomorrow. And we talked a lot about how could a horror movie, more or less, cause a vibration out to society that changes the viewpoint of the value of your animal, if it's your dog, your cat, your goat, or whatever. But in this case, it was dogs, and how important they really are. And they can feel, see, and hear into other frequencies. They can smell sickness. They can detect cancer. They save and are friendly with all different other species. And they don't put a stop or a blanket on another species if they want to help them or be a part of them like we do. And so I guess why we're really trying to hone in on what's going on is that where is the United States in all of this? Funny thing is, when you do a cross-reference, we basically make laws by state and county sometimes. It's more of local government where we could pass and say that you can't do this in the state of California. We watch our animals like this in, a different type of state, where a lot of countries will overall do an overall protection, like basically a judicial law. We're one country that won't, which is really interesting because even our local laws do not really go and protect far out, surpass our domesticated animals. And even then, you can basically get away with anything. You can hurt them, you can kill them, you can do any of this and get away with it. It's stricter in some states than others, but not really. So my question is, do we do this because we don't want to make it on a whole that this is how we treat our animals? We go back to basic, simple times. This is how we treat our animals. This is how we treat our people. This is what we don't allow. This is what we do allow. If you harm any species or creature walking around here in any way, this is how you get punished, and this is it. We don't really do that, but we do it for our human species. I don't know. I'm just saying we're coming in a time that's a future time. We have future animals. We have people thinking forward in the future, that this is the time to start really getting on board and getting laws in and regulations that are of some equality here, and that shows that we have real respect for ourselves and our animals and all the great things that they do for us and what they can do for us going forward in the future. They are very smart, responsible, and vibrational, and detect a lot of things, like I said earlier. Therefore, we need to see their value here. Listen, we're trying to shoot a podcast here, and we are all on production. So we were going to pause this, but I'm going to roll it because this is Sam. He handles all the socials and everything at the same time. He handles our signage and logo, which we're really high tech here. We're just getting some tape and we're going to tape this bitch in, okay? But while we do it, everyone, we're going to still talk about this. And what I was saying is that Mary, right? Mary's over it. It's Friday. We're talking about animal welfare. It's not the hottest topic, but we're going to make it such. And I will say, boom, we're back. We may be not back soon, but we're back right now. Thanks, Sam. All right. We're doing this basically like in the moment, everyone. But the one thing that I noticed why we were fixing this set is, and I was saying, is that the United States, we are way far behind. We still allow animal testing. All right. We still we'll protect certain animals, but we'll exclude others. Horses basically have virtually no rights much in this country. It's interesting to me. And the one thing that was kind of brought to my attention is we as people want to attack this shit before we even have to hope the government gets involved, especially in this country right now. We as people need to really come together and decide what we want for our animals, how we want to protect them, what seems archaic to you. In all states, I put this out to everyone in each state, Some states have better protection laws than others. That's a fact. Some are trying to get, in with it. But all in all, we don't have really secure laws in to protect even our domesticated animals. And I think here's the hypocrisy right now of our country, okay? And also the irony of it is that you have to be careful to use the word pet, which I often say we don't like to use that here, but if ever I hear anyone use it, people go crazy, or the best dog beds, or the most expensive food we can get here, and like elite dog hotels and cat hotels, and we've set up our house this way, and we're all these things for our animals, and it's like we're bringing our animals here and we're doing this. We have a lot to show, but we don't have real initial future tell, if that makes any sense. For so long, we're big on talk and not much action, which is interesting currently because that's kind of where we are right now, right? It's distractions, it's talk, it's all of this. And unfortunately, one would say, well, what does that have to do with what's going on in the world now and government and everything with our animals and this and what you're talking about, Jocelyn, with what other countries do? Everything. We're just talking about archaic. Okay, we're talking about let's not pull a horse and carriage around New York anymore. Let's not go pay an arm and a leg to go see a dolphin jump through a hoop. And a lot of kids laugh, yeah, look at the dolphin. Like, we have a lot of things in the world right now that are new and forward and mentally stimulating for people to get involved with together as a collective, in a group, to enjoy and appreciate above and beyond watching various species do a trick or pull you around or do something for you. Why do we have to appreciate them as long as they do something for us? Well, what do they do? How important are they? And I will say, well, how important are you? At this point in the game, in society in general, and energy as a whole, people, animals, all of it, it's really important that we get out of an old mindset and stop being so regulated and let our minds just go free and say, where should we be now? Why are we doing this? And make it as simple as that. You want laws to protect your animals fully and your family fully, or the best of your capabilities, that that if someone hurts your animal, they will have to pay for that it won't be a skirt. I think that if you want that, we in this country as people, then I believe where we're going, we have the ability in all ways, whether it's rights for animals, rights for yourself, freedom for yourself, whatever it is, it's got to start from you. And if everyone who really, really, really gives a shit about animals, and they really full throttle in this country, like all around, and want to say enough with this archaic stuff, right? We can't talk about AI taking over, a good 50% of the workforce and everything we do in the next 5 years, but still talk archaically that if you go and shoot a dog, you can get out with $50 bail or something. I may not be exact on that. I'm trying to also, be a little facetious with this. But the fact is, you can easily harm an animal and get out pretty quick. But I would also say this, that it's very telling by human psychology and where we are now, that it shows where we are in a state of society, of how off balance we are when we don't have these regulations, where we can't come together as people, no matter who you are and what you are, to just say, let's talk about right or wrong, but let's talk. Here's the difference between us and a lot of the countries, and I can go and, say kudos to Germany, kudos to Germany. We always like to give kudos, but Germany, believe it or not, was long protecting their animals, and, so was Sweden, and Italy is like, big on it. They love to publicize it. They love to show it. I do know that recently, though, they're doing much more also in New York in different ways, but not a lot. It's these little pockets. And I would say, you know how this all works is no different on a lot of things in work. We are in new times and we can't run the same way. We need to talk about what's important. It's almost blows my mind, blows it out that we're going into 2026 and we still don't have enforced regulations to how we treat animals in our country uniformly. And if you have animal lovers, people that love and appreciate nature, animals as a whole, your dogs and below your feet, your cat, whatever, you appreciate them as a whole and a species on this planet, which, by the way, everyone, it is not easy right now. This is not an easy time. And that energy vibrates down to our animals. That's fact. That's just fact. We can't have all these studies and all these things come up and then say, well, they don't feel that. Oh, yeah, they do. Probably 10 times more. If it doesn't even directly invade your home, the energy in this country and on this planet is tough, specifically in this country. It's off balance, it feels uncomfortable, and it's tough. But yet our animals still keep moving forward. There's no complaints. They bring us joy. They bring us love. We don't have to second guess if they're going to turn around and talk behind our backs or not back us up. It's almost like a basic, like easy, why wouldn't you go and protect that and open your mind to value bigger or know how to speak to them in different ways or know what they can do in science and in health? I can't tell anyone what to do, but it's hard for me to fathom that people are so concerned about all these things, but we are still running the way we're running in a minimal laws for these animals. It's minimal here. So I guess the whole, and as Mary sits in here, we talk about future and stuff, but this is part of our future. It's ours, it's your children's, your families, your friends, all of us. And I guess the one great thing that we can learn from them is not just how to protect them, but the more that we see the value of what they can do for us, and then what we can do for them. We're a society of what you can do for me, what can you do for me? No. They naturally do for you. Now, what you can do for them is usually on, can we fill our hearts with love? Can we not bring anger home? Can we be present with our animals when we take them for a walk? We take the things out of our ears and not have a digital thing. And can you be right there with them? Can you take a walk? I said Central Park, take a walk. What I believe in, not that everyone sees, is that all these ways to disconnect, not look, not really know, I don't want to get deep in it, don't tell me too much. All of this is really a product of almost desensitizing. The human is just desensitizing because it's just too much and it feels like we're just too much off balance. And I truly believe that the beginning steps, there are a lot we need to do. We're just getting started. But beginning basic steps for humanity, our planet, and specifically our country, because that's where we're living in, and that's where I can speak of more extensively than in Germany. For this, on a bigger connection, a bigger product as a whole, we need to start finding value again in the simple things that make us happy. The simple things, I know this sounds crazy, the simple things that balance our mind and quiet down. So when we read the news, and hopefully not that much. But when we're interested in things, or we'd like things to cease, or we'd like to sign a petition in place, or we'd like to get involved within our community in a way that benefits locally, and however that is, we need to feel value again. We need to know it matters. We need to know that it matters. And it's not just one direction that we get fed every day that this is the way it matters. That's a distraction, my friends. What matters is how we treat our land. What matters is what we eat and what we put in our bodies. What matters is how we protect our animals that roam this land before us and have metamorphed from maybe a fish on the ocean into this. Who knows, however you want to go with it. But they've been here, and they have graciously allowed us to really partake in it gluttonously, ego. They've let us beat them around. It's been a long time of us looking at our animals out in society in an archaic, almost dysfunctional way. And what we haven't seen over time, because we're so involved in what we see out in the government and we see the injustices in the world, and oh, how can this happen? And you represent that, and you represent this, and let's divide, and all of this shit. That's nothing that animals at all look at. When Mary Grace goes to say hello to someone that she loves, she's feeling intention and energy. She's not looking for anything else. She doesn't care where they stand. She doesn't care what they look like. She doesn't care where they come from. She doesn't give a shit. She gives a shit about their soul and their heart and their intention. And she walks to them and she wants to say hello to them for that. And that's it. And that's most animals. If you have bad intention, that's all they're looking at, and they won't come to you. If it's good, they do. So maybe I guess I needed everyone to see and feel that, because if we don't feel that, then we don't care to protect them. And it's funny when you see little videos on socials of people who went through Sweden or Norway or Germany or whatever, when they talk about their animals and they talk about the laws, there's this community and this camaraderie, and they hold themselves in a way, and the way they touch their dogs, it's like it's equal. It's like we live together. We are families. We run up this hill together. Like, we're doing it together. We are in it. It's natural. It's like, why wouldn't we live this way? I have to tell you, it's very different than when you look in this country. Not everywhere, but it's different. It's a broken connection. You know, we can't fix broken the same way, and we can't start fixing broken without fixing the foundation correctly this time of basics. And if we can have a lot of passion and connection and camaraderie with our fellow humans and fellow other species who are ready and willing. You don't have to get the camaraderie from them. You ready? Let's go do this together. You want to make some laws? You want to change on how you view yourself? You want to like yourself a little bit more and love animals a little more? Shit, they're on board. Let's go. But that is the key. Because if we don't give a shit about our fellow person, our animals, we give enough. We give enough to show we do. If we can't fully be in it, like I just said, the one singing in Sweden and there's flowers around the animals, like, woo, we're here together. If we can't find that, then we can't protect ourselves and we can't protect them. We can't come together, no matter who we are, to do it. So maybe that's why we had to do this episode, is because it's a call to that, not just to point out, we always want to give kudos, but let's come out together. Give me suggestions, write us, like, what do you think? You know, what is your state doing? What is your town doing? How do you guys come together to honor the animals? And what are you pushing forward for your state? What are your values on that? What is that? And what does that mean to you to protect everyone's dogs and cats because you love yours so much? The more that we can feel that and come together and not diversify on the ways we come together to do that, the better we'll all be. Because I'll say it again, your animals, this dog only goes for that. That's it. Simple. Is it love? Is it good? Are we doing something great? Are we getting ready to expand? Do you love me? Do you love you? Do you love your family? Do you love your friends? Yeah. Oh, shit. Boom. There's foundation. Let's go. And that's how we get into future. That's future dog. That's being with your dog in the future times of the way dogs are now. That's knowing and appreciating what they give and who they are and what they emulate and what they teach. They're smarter than most scientists. The problem is they can actually speak it in voice, and then you have to be very quiet and present to really understand. You can put a lot of electrodes on her and see the wavelengths and brainwaves and all of that. You can do that, or you can just get quiet with yourself, slow down a minute, and think about what you love about yourself, your animals, the land you sit on, and everything else. A few minutes a day, every day. I bet you hear things differently. I bet you see things just a little differently. It's a practice. None of this is easy, friends. It just isn't. Think of so many years, you have to practice it. You want to get balanced? Start with those basics. When you take a walk outside, how does the air smell? Can you pull undertones of different trees? Are you that connected? It starts with your senses. You want to hear more, see more? When you hear, can you hear longer? Test yourself as you're walking. Make yourself laugh. Can you do all those things? Can you increase your senses, your awareness? And then see how you take in news or your family at the end of the day or your animals at the end of the day. Are you a little more balanced, a little more aware to the bigger of all of this? Because that's where they sit. Because the more of us that can get there, the more that will just say, oh shit, let's put this law in place. Every state has to do this, and this is how we plan. This is a no-brainer. And then we can look and see the country, America, has now just set unprecedented laws and regulations across the board because people won't allow it, communities won't allow it, to protect animals in ways that no other country has seen. Wouldn't that be cool if we could do that? I don't know. Something to think about. It's also something to think about because we're going to need to down the line. We need to. We have the next few years are not easy energetically at all. And it's, I believe, a very big test on how we relay foundation from our souls to this land, and that you actually give a shit to be here. I think that changes everything. So let me give you all a couple of tidbits that you can do right now, tomorrow, or even right now. But let's say tomorrow. What are some basic tips that you can give me, Jocelyn, so that I can start this? Like I said, first tip, when you get up in the morning, take a deep breath and let yourself just balance and sit for a moment. Like literally just sit with no preconceived anything in your head, whatever. Take a breath, close your eyes, and just sit and basically see nothing. Not nothing ahead of the day, just nothing. You're open to tackle the day, go with it. That's one. Two, I always use, and I said it earlier, how do you do it? Increase your senses. Our senses have the ability to increase and heighten how we smell, hear, taste, and see. Believe it or not, you heightening and knowing your senses and heightening them in an awareness then gives you the ability to clear out shit in your head, raise your awareness so you can actually be really expansive. You have to do it daily. So if you get up in the morning, you go take a walk or you walk to your car, take a breath, smell, see. Are you looking above? Are you looking at trees? Can you see past? Hearing, test yourself, giggle. Did I just hear that bark? It sounded like it was way down the way. Hone it. Can you hone the sound? People say, how can I do that? You have to do it. You have to try. That's another way. The third way, say I love you to yourself, to your animals, 5 times, to the sky, to the ground, to something, not with everyone hearing you. You can be quiet 5 times before you go out in the world. To anything. 5 times. What it is that you love. Hopefully something about yourself. What do you love about your dog, your cat, fucking land you walk on, the smell of the land. God, I love the smell today. It gives a hint of a little bit of wet dog, and it reminds me when I was 7 years old before like a storm would come in. You get where I'm going with this? Believe it or not, that's how I taught clients and everything for years. The more you can then let your mind go there, hone that smell when you were 7 to now, get yourself to smile and move on, that immediately changes your complete connection to advance on how you hear things, see, your intuition, psychic-like level, all of that. If you're consistently doing that, it's like the vibration in the universe says, oh, she gives a shit. Really? All right, I'll work with you. You want to work with me? That's how. Those are definitely tips. Trying to think if that's it. I think those are enough. I mean, you would say, how could that work? Try it. Try it. That's true. Just try it. See if you can elevate your senses and say, oh, my smell's better than it ever been. Well, then your probably brain is heightened too. Ooh, I hear more than I thought I did. Boom. Pretty much that simple. You just got to do it a lot. Those are definite tips to get you there. Get you there to start appreciating the real nitty-gritty good shit. It allows you to, you don't even have to try. The more you do it, just natural and energy says, oh, we don't need all this other stuff. Let's go here. This is cleaner. This is like ultimate awareness. Let's go there. Just naturally happens. The difference is no one really does it. So go out and try it. Those are 3 big tips that the more and more you can then come back to us and say, let me tell you, I don't know if this makes sense, but for like 2 months, all I did was say 5 I love yous every morning and found something good about myself and what I appreciate energetically in my animal, in nature. I kept working on my senses. Even if I'm driving the car, I was working on myself to hone myself. And I couldn't believe it. It changed a lot of how I thought and what the vibration was out of my life. I actually felt like, shit, I could do this. I bet. Try it and tell us. You don't have to make sense of it, nor do you have to make sense of it for anyone else. And this is something I've always said to my clients and friends over the years. This is no one else's business. That's why I'm so big on confidentiality and never talking. I always say to people, this is not something to get embarrassed about. This is shit you can do alone. I do it. I will give you tips every show from now on of what Jocelyn does of all the 20 plus years to do this stuff. How do I do my own self-work so I can work with others? Believe it or not, those first 3 basic tips I gave you are part of my everyday too. So we will be sharing what I do together, and every week I will give you new basic ones and we'll work that magic alongside one another. And you guys can ask me how you want to hone it. And either way, we'll get there. And ultimately, if you can get that mind in a good place and you know what's real, what's not, what's truth, what's not, and you're also having a good time really connecting out to your animals, other people, and this planet and the universe, at least more than you ever have, boom, you're 10 steps ahead. Believe it or not, that vibration will change more than you'd ever think, even as basic. But why everyone will say to me, it's so basic and simple. And I say, then why don't we try it? So, I mean, it's true. I mean, that's why I said in Central Park, I have a really far out reaching idea. How about we don't spend money now for a bunch of electric cars or maybe we just say, why don't you come and join us in New York and walk Central Park? Legs and walking, or a bike, or if people have trouble walking or slowing down, I don't know, man, obviously electric cars are a good deal, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe there are other ways to get you more connected than what we've got. So today here at Future Dog, Mary Grace, who's, we had a rough night. We couldn't get much sleep. she's bound out on this, but she showed up because there's nothing Mary Grace would love more. And of course, oh, boom. Listen, everyone, it's a little discombobulated day. Go with us. We're a new show, but I send this out to all of you as I do at the end of every show. I don't know, take a look at your dog, your cat, your goat, your donkey. Take a breath of the air. See if you can smell something in there. Increase your senses. And then think, what's really important to me? Believe it or not, just holding that energy for a few seconds changes everything. So then we in this country can record and be out there saying, look what we're doing for our animals like everyone else is. But again, kudos to all of you. And we here at Future Dog, again, say like, subscribe, come with us on the journey. We're lucky to, or don't come with us on the journey. Now come with us on the journey, everyone. All right, thank you. Please get to me, write to us. Let me know about your dogs, your animals, and what's important to you, because it matters to me, and it certainly matters to Mary Grace. All right, everyone, thank you for joining me today on Future Dog. Blah! Till next time, bye.